Last episode, Gwen made a joke about needing a break from me. So, I gave her one, and by break, I mean she's gone. Forever. Or she's just competing in a race somewhere, who knows. But I'm Riley Kapchuk.
And I'm Liv Funk. Unlike Riley, I had a wonderful break. I got to travel, relax, and not worry if I'm on Gwen's bad side. Hopefully, Gwen and Riley will be done their break by next week. You're watching the Home for Explorers Athletics SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. We missed you, and I hope you missed us. But what we all missed is a bunch of LaSalle athletics.
And later, Riley got to sit down with the men's rowing team to talk about their season.
But first, let's have a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Number 1, LaSalle University's men's basketball has welcomed their 21st head coach, Darius Nichols, this past weekend.
Number 2, Felix Judbrat from our men's swimming and diving team will compete in the NCAA championship this weekend, swimming in the 50-yard and 100-yard free and the 100-yard fly.
Number 3, Martina Bonet-Saez from the water polo team was named this week's NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week.
That's it for the top 3. Now let's see how our teams did in this week's recaps. Men's basketball and Coach Fran Dumfries' season came to an end last week as they fell to St. Joe's in the A-10 tournament. The game started off in favor of LaSalle, taking an early 6-5 lead thanks to 4 quick points and 2 rebounds from McAteen. But a 4-minute scoring drought and back-to-back three-pointers from the Hawks left LaSalle trailing in a defensive struggle. Ryan Zan broke the streak, but St. Joe's closed the half on a strong run, taking a 36-27 lead into the break. In the second half, Corey McKeaton kept LaSalle in the game with 5 quick points, while Zan knocked down 2 huge three-pointers to cut the deficit to 6. Each time, however, the Hawks responded, pulling away with a 5-2 run to take a commanding 68-47 lead. LaSalle refused to quit, initiating an 11-0 run to pull within 10 in the final minutes. 6 straight field goals cut the deficit to just 3 with 4 seconds left, but the Hawks ended up sealing the win of 75-70.
Over the weekend, the LaSalle men's golf team competed in the Carpet Badger Classic, hosted by Birmingham at Worthington Manor Golf Club. The Explorers finished 6th overall among the 16-team field, with the best 4 scores from each day counting towards the team's overall score. Senior Alex Gikas led the team with the lowest round of the tournament, a -171 on day 1. He also became the only member of the team to score an eagle this season, finishing tied for 22nd with a +6 overall. Junior Ahmed Lascazo and Matt LaFond also tied for 22nd with +6s, with LaFond competing as an individual. Sophomore Gavin Dosh tied for 30th with a +7. Both he and LaFond were the only members not to shoot over 76 in either round. Junior Ben Battle and freshman Peyton Hawk rounded out the team with +11 and +12 respectively.
This past weekend, water polo had 4 more matchups, including their senior night ceremony at home. The day started against VMI. LaSalle took control early, building a 4-1 lead behind 2 goals from Martina Bonet-Saez and Sofia Calavu, before VMI struck late in the first. Francesca Coe responded immediately, scorching the net in the final seconds to give LaSalle a 5-2 lead heading into the second. Tatum Lomax and Coe kept LaSalle in front despite a 3-2 advantage for VMI in the second quarter, sending the game into halftime 7-5. The third quarter belonged to the Explorers as they overpowered VMI with a 6-1 run. 5 different players scored, including 2 strikes from Allie Hollow, pushing LaSalle's lead to 13-6. Entering the final frame, with the game in hand, LaSalle emptied the bench in the fourth. Both sides added 4 goals, with Amanda Fadil and Carlota Zindali each netting their first of the game to seal the 17-10 victory.
Then it was time to take on Wagner. Despite big performances from Francesca Coe and Marnita Bonet-Saez, LaSalle couldn't overcome an early deficit. Wagner came out firing, building a 7-2 lead in the first quarter. Bonet Saez and co. provided the early offense for the Explorers, combining for 9 points. The Seahawks ended up taking a commanding 16-8 lead into halftime. 4 different Explorers found the back of the net, with Co. and Bonet Saez each scoring twice to keep LaSalle in striking distance. Wagner continued their scoring streak, leaving the deficit too much to overcome, leading the Explorers to fall 25-16.
They then played rival LIU. LIU took a 4-2 lead in the first quarter and never looked back. Despite LaSalle's efforts to keep pace, the Explorers stayed within striking distance at halftime, trailing 7-5 after goals from Francesca Coe, Tatum Lomax, and Paige Mitchell. Bonet Saez opened the third with a goal to cut the deficit to 1, but LIU responded with 4 of the next 5 to pull away. Bonet Saez notched all 3 of LaSalle's third quarter goals, but the Sharks maintained a 12-8 lead heading into the final frame. Despite late strikes from Coe and Sofia Calavio, LIU sealed the win.
Lastly, they played Villanova. For the second straight game, LaSalle fell behind 4-2 in the first quarter, before Grace Smith's late goal kept the Explorers close. After a back-and-forth second frame, LaSalle trailed 6-4 at halftime, but stormed back with 3 straight goals from Francesca Coe to take a 7-6 lead in the third. Villanova tied it at 10 in the fourth before Coe put LaSalle back in front with over a minute left, only for the Wildcats to force overtime with a last-second goal. Bonet Saez opened overtime scoring, but Villanova responded with 2 straight goals before Saez tied it again with only 1 minute left in double overtime. Villanova answered these goals, securing the game, leaving the Explorers to fall 14-13.
Women's lacrosse traveled to Richmond, Virginia to play Richmond University 2 weekends ago. Richmond dominated the first half, scoring early and often to build a comfortable lead heading into halftime. Junior attacker Emmy Waldron led LaSalle with 3 half shots, but the Explorers were shut out until freshman midfielder Tia Jack scored her first collegiate goal late in the third quarter. Sophomore midfielder Kayla Norris and senior attacker Ellen Stigley added late goals, but the deficit was too much to overcome. LaSalle fell to Richmond 19-3. On the brighter side, goalie Brooke Nelson recorded her second straight game with 10-plus saves in a loss.
This past week, they hosted St. Joseph's at home. The Explorers struggled early to find the net, getting on the board with 8 minutes left in the first quarter, when senior attacker Katie Johnson capitalized on a pass from sophomore attacker Katie Ricciardi, making it 4-1. St. Joseph's responded with 2 more goals before the end of the quarter. The Hawks then scored twice more to start the second quarter. Midfielder Sam Klein put LaSalle back on the board with 12 minutes left in the half, thanks to an assist from attacker Molly Maloney. However, St. Joseph continued to control the game, scoring all the goals in the third quarter. Maloney added her second point of the game with a goal at the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter, but St. Joseph's closed out the win with a few more goals, ending the game 23-3.
Men and women's track had their first outdoor meet this past weekend, competing in the Penn Challenge at Penn University. On the women's side, Neve Millet finished 7th in the 1,500-meter run with a time of 4 minutes 36.1 seconds. Brent-Lynn Jones took 4th in the triple jump with a jump of 10.15 meters. Nevaeh Davis recorded a personal best of 12.1 seconds in the 100-meter dash, placing 3rd overall. Amelia Arts and Georgia Rose Dawson went 9th and 10th in the 800-meter event with times of 2 minutes 20 seconds and 2 minutes 47 seconds. Respectfully, Soleil Morrison also recorded a personal best and set a program record with a time of 24.76 seconds in the 200-meter dash, taking 3rd. Dagu Alazine finished 10th in the 200-meter dash with a time of 26.32 seconds. To conclude the day, Emma Taylor was 8th in the 3K with a time of 10 minutes 47 seconds.
On the men's side, David Butts finished 10th in the 1,500-meter run with a time of 3 minutes 54 seconds. Chanel Murr clinched 3rd in the 800-meter run with a time of 1 minute 51 seconds, while Kayla Murray recorded 8th place in the same event with a time of 1 minute 57 seconds. Finn Burney took bronze in the 3K with a time of 8 minutes 30 seconds. The men's 4x400 meter relay team finished 3rd overall with a time of 3 minutes 40 seconds.
New sports.
Yep, and a lot of sports.
And golf.
Yeah.
I don't understand golf really.
Yeah.
That's something I'm going to learn though, but water polo plays a lot of games. We didn't get to include some of water polo's games that they played over spring break, but they had a pretty good run then.
Yeah, a lot of games over break.
A lot of games over break, and there's going to be a lot of games coming up also, which we'll get into.
Mm-hmm.
But lacrosse.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about? I had a lot of, and you're lucky it's not Gwen, because if Gwen was here, it would have been a lot more negative.
Yeah.
But about lacrosse, but
hopefully they'll get through. You know, I believe in them.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I got to sit down with Joel and Mike from our men's rowing team. Stay tuned.
The game is on the line. Championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords. Turn on multi-factor authentication. Update software and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
What makes essential workers essential?
We keep where you work and live clean and safe.
We harvest fresh produce for your families to eat.
We help you heal when you're sick.
Essential workers help our nation run. You're in every corner of our country and come from all over the globe. I'm Marty Walsh. The Wage and Hour Division at the Department of Labor helps ensure you receive the essential protections you deserve. Visit our website or call 866-4US-WAGE.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Labor.
Oh, hi. I suppose you're wondering what an A-list celebrity like me is doing in a place like this. You must know, I'm saving the world. Oh, hi, Beth. Yep, saving the world again. Did you know that 40% of all the food produced in the United States is thrown away? That means everything that went into that food, the pesticides, the water, the land, was all for nothing. Just look at this perfectly good food thrown in the trash. The pizza with extra Cheerios, these goldfish and Band-Aid tacos. And just look at this perfect trash burger. This pasta dog looks delicious.
You don't have to dumpster dive like Ed Begley Jr. to save the planet. Fight food waste by shopping smart and using what you buy before it gets trashed.
That's way better. Ooh, arugula.
Do your part and find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
Welcome back to On the Sideline. I'm Riley Kapchuk, and joining me today is Joel and Mike from the Salle men's rowing team. Guys, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So starting off, how did you first get into rowing, and what drew you to the sport? You can start.
So I started rowing in high school, and really just what drew me to the sport was just trying something new. I had never really done athletics before, anything really before high school, rather like other than like small, short stints that my dad would try and make me do, and I just wanted to do something different that I'd never done before, and I figured rowing was something that everyone would be on the same playing field. No one really was going to be doing rowing in middle school or before that. So just trying to have a new experience, and I'm really glad I did it because I made a lot of really great friends and had a lot of really great experiences, and now I'm here.
Yeah, that's good. And you?
I started actually my freshman year. I was very tall and lanky, and the crew captain at the time of my high school team came up to me in the hallway and asked me if I would be interested, and I had no clue what it was. I knew my uncles and my aunts had done it, and they were really successful. And my mom, went home, she encouraged me, so I went out for the first practice. I was in a single, and I flipped the boat 5 times in front of the captain, and everyone thought I wouldn't come back, and then I liked it somehow, and I eventually came back. And I think the aspect that drew me to the sport was I was originally a basketball player. I played on a bunch of AAU circuits and everything like that. But it was just the people, the hardworking mentality, and also, honestly, the nerves before a race are just something you can't ever replicate.
Mm-hmm. And can you describe a typical day of training for you both during the season?
So we'll wake up around 5 o'clock, I would say, in the morning, usually most days, and we'll go and meet up as a team. We'll warm up in the True Mark real quick as a team. We do a little warm up, and then we'll drive over down to the river, and then some days we'll be doing long, like, steady work where it's just like low intensity stuff, and other days we'll do shorter, more high intensity stuff. And whatever we're doing, we just lock in and we focus and we get the work done, whatever needs to be done, and do it well, trying to be the most efficient as possible with whatever we're doing. And then we come in and we stretch a lot, and then sometimes we do some core circuits too, try and maintain our strength through our core. Is important for rowing. And yeah, then we come back, and some days we do lift over at True Mark 2. Some days we'll just have an extra session out in the water where we do basically the same thing just in the afternoon. Sometimes we'll do just stuff indoors more casually, like do like biking, like on our own on the stationary bikes over at Worcester. But yeah, we do that like 6 days a week, and usually have a day off in there, and just try and be as efficient and as quick as possible.
That's a lot. What's the most challenging part of being on the rowing team, both physically and mentally?
I would say physically, just the being present every single day and trying to be as efficient as possible. Like I was saying, with each practice, you have to make each meter and each stroke count. Every single day we're trying to be much more focused and much more, less volume and more just very efficient and very just precise in how we're practicing now, trying to not waste any time, being focused the whole time. And doing that is physically very strenuous, especially when we're doing shorter, more intense stuff. We're pushing our bodies to their absolute limits. And I mean, the most mental difficulty for me would probably be just having to deal with all that, especially before a race. The nerves, they can get to a lot of people, but staying strong and staying focused and knowing the plan going into it beforehand is overcoming that is how you win races.
Yeah, that was really well said. Is that like the same for you? I feel like
for me, I would say it's coming in every single day, because every day you're not going to want to wake up at 5 a.m. and sometimes it is hard to have a good mentality going into it because you know what you're about to do to your body physically. Mentally, it's even harder than that. So to come in and put intention behind every single thing you're doing in the boat, because you have to remember so many different details and your attention to detail the entire time. You have to be 100% dialed in. And also just to be able to rattle stuff off if you have a bad practice, to be able to go, reset mentally, and come back in the afternoon or the next morning with a better mentality is what it's all about.
And then rowing requires a lot of teamwork. How do you work together as a team to ensure success on the water?
Well, I think, especially in the last couple of years, just holding each other accountable, making sure that, we're not just doing each individual thing alone, that we're there as a team. We're stretching and warming up and doing all this extra stuff as a team. We're all doing it and starting it together and finishing it together. And really, what inspires me the most is this winter we're inside. It's too cold to be out in the water, and we're inside every single day, and it's, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit miserable sometimes. Just, we want to be out there on the water training, and the cold prevents us from doing that. But being there together and being there to push each other and to cheer each other on, and knowing that we're not alone in whatever we're doing, the hard work that we're doing, it really motivates you. And then when we're out in the water, I mean, you can see the person in front of you, you can hear the person behind you, that they're working just as hard and they're taking the same exact stroke that you are, and getting together and matching up is how you win races. It's the ultimate team sport where you have to work together or otherwise you're not going to win. And doing that every single day, not just literally by physically matching up our strokes, but being there for each other is really what the sport is all about.
And bouncing off that, one thing I ask every athlete I interview here is what your team dynamic is like. So do you want to just describe?
Yeah, honestly, it's great. It's the best team I've ever been a part of. We have a lot of stars on our team. At the international level, we have a lot of international rowers. Joel's our captain. He's probably, for starters, the most down-to-earth person I've ever met. We have just a lot of our upperclassmen, they're so open to questions, to you picking their brain for information. And the team dynamic it's really big on, I would say we're all friends. You know, we eat dinner together at Treetops. The camaraderie with the team, we're honestly all there for each other. You know, if something happens, you know, we're, you know, the first people to reach out to see if everything's okay with each other. And it's honestly, it's amazing. It's a brotherhood.
Yeah, that's really good. And Joel, being a senior and Mike being a freshman, what's one piece of advice you'd give freshmen and new recruits going forward?
You know, just no matter what happens, just keep your head high. You know, there's going to be a lot of days where, you know, you're going to struggle. You know, especially when you're a freshman, you come in, you have to learn a lot. There's going to be a lot of information that our coaches are going to give you, a lot of feedback. You know, you're not going to come in and, you know, just be this perfect guy who does every single thing right. You know, there's going to be something that, you know, the coaches want out of you. And our coaches are some of the best and most knowledgeable people of the sport that I've ever met. And they're so extremely supportive, and they're going to give you a lot of stuff because they care so much about all their athletes. They want to see you do your absolute best. And so they're going to give you a lot to improve on and work on, and just keeping your head up, knowing that every single day you're going to get a little bit better, and that by the time you're a senior, you're going to not even recognize yourself anymore. You're going to be so much better. You're going to transform in the way that a coach should transform you, and just trust the process, basically.
And you're talking about transforming. How has the team evolved since you joined, and what changes have you seen in your team's overall approach and performance?
So when I was a freshman, I mean, the team, you know, wasn't really doing that well. There was a lot of coaching changes. You know, it was very unstable. You know, the culture seemed to be like not really caring that much because they had never really done particularly well. And, you know, when Evo came in and he saw the potential of the class, you know, the classes that were here, and, you know, we had a lot of energy and that we wanted to do well, and that he came in with a lot of really great passion. And since then, I think that that has spread throughout the entire team. The passion to do well and to win and to want to actually succeed and be productive every single day is spread to the entire team. And it isn't just about just being here and just having fun. It's about, you know, being there for each other and winning and all having a common goal. And that's, I think, the biggest change, is that we're so much more focused than we were before.
That's good. And finally, looking ahead, what are some of the biggest races or challenges you're excited for the season?
For starters, Dadville's. It's been 60 years since we've won. And honestly, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a lot of pressure and expectation behind our hopes. You know, every practice we're reminded, because we row by Drexel, we row by Temple, who are the two other contenders that we row with on the river. So reminding ourselves every single day about, you know, what people like Joel, they've set the standard, and they've experienced that pain of losing such a close race. So from the top to bottom, guys, we're all driven to win, and that's definitely where our vision is at right now.
Both your answers for everything was really good. Thank you for joining me today. I wish you the best of luck for your season. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to go over all the upcoming games. Stay tuned.
Hi there. You might wonder what a famous Hollywood celebrity like me is doing reading in the dark. Is this some new sort of Hollywood method acting? No, this is quite real.
Did you know that Americans use about 4 times as much energy per year as the global average? We waste energy left and right, despite the fact that the dirty fossil fuels we use to power our energy sources wreak havoc on the natural world and destroys valuable wildlife habitats.
By reading with my solar-powered night vision goggles, I'm saving energy and looking sleek.
You don't have to sit in the dark like Ed Begley Jr. to save the world. Fight climate change by speaking up for cleaner, smarter energy, including rooftop solar.
Oh, that's way better. Oh.
Do your part and find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
We put our trust in professionals with years of training to help us lead healthy lives. We rely on them to do their jobs with diligence and dedication, because if they don't, our lives are on the line. Clean water is essential to survive. 98% of fresh water lies underground, which must be accessed by trained groundwater professionals. One trained groundwater professional can ensure the health of an entire community. Don't take clean water for granted. Learn how to protect our water at groundwater.okstate.edu.
Welcome back. We have a really busy week of Explore Sports, so here's what you have to look forward to. Select men's swimmers will travel to Washington, D.C. to compete in the NCAA Swimming Championships Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 1 p.m. Men and women's track will travel to North Carolina to compete in the Rayleigh Relays Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 4:15 p.m. Other members from the track and field team will compete at the Monmouth season opener at Monmouth University Saturday at 10 a.m.
Men's golf will travel to Ocean City, Maryland to compete in the Battle at Rum Point Friday and Saturday. Women's golf will travel to Graysonville, Maryland to compete at the Gel Collegiate Men's and women's rowing will kick off the season this weekend, with the men traveling to Princeton, New Jersey to race against Princeton, Georgetown, and Temple University all on Saturday, and the women going against University of Delaware at the Schuylkill River on 10 a.m. Saturday. Lastly, on Saturday, women's lacrosse will travel to Massachusetts to take on UMass at noon.
That just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorers play, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Instagram at SportsLineLTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions there. Before you go, we want to see you repping LaSalle. Send us a selfie from any upcoming LaSalle game via our Instagram, and you might get a shout out in the next episode of SportsLine.
For our entire SportsLine team, I'm Riley Kavchuk.
And I'm Liv Funk. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the game.